A dear friend, whose name will remain anonymous because my musings are never about people or persons, but only about concepts. This dear friend, in one of his comments to me, really triggered me into another deeply intense feeling that I'm going to try and process in this musing. I tell you, the maxim, know yourself, God, I'm telling you, it's the most frightful thing to actually practice, because it demands of you to go into your deepest depths and feel your deepest feelings with such an intensity that it is likely going to be offensive to people. Like even me feeling my own intensity and trying to put words around it could be seen as me criticizing the person that triggered this response. But it's not about the person. It's about what my memory of my Christian past, my religious past, is still reflecting against the present trigger, the present feeling that is arising now, and it's clashing within me, and the other person is just serving as the mirror to hold up that past reflection that no longer matches the current vibration. So there are more feelings that need to be processed. And let me just find the quote that really brought this up in me. Where is this here? Yeah, it's this one. Jesus is not a fairy tale. He is truly the human vessel God chose to reveal himself through to the world. But many come to him for all the wrong reasons, and then often carry over their dysfunctional way of thinking into their spiritual walk, and it turns off all of the onlookers searching for some form of truth to hold on to. The thing that really grabbed my trigger was this. But many come to him for all the wrong reasons. Oof. The counter question that I posed to my friend was, what exactly is the quote unquote right reason to come to Jesus? And why is there even this requirement to come to quote unquote him? See, the old Christian way of thinking in dualism, through the double-minded awareness, is still that you have to leave yourself to go to him. Right? There is nowhere to go to him. And the reason why this triggered me, this wording, is because I don't process through the dual mind anymore. I process through oneness, where it's not about me and him, but it's about me and me as the soul self. And I'll bump heads with people that are still in the Christian mindset with this serving a separate God from themselves. They split their human self off from God. And so there's always this need to abandon self, to surrender yourself to God outside of you. And then this statement, many come to him for all the wrong reasons. I would like to know the right reason in the first place. What is the right reason to go to Jesus? If divinity is your own soul, shouldn't you be going within to yourself, to know yourself like I am doing right now? And there's always this subtle judgment even though people don't mean to be judgy, but this judgment is in there because of the separate self from God. Either we're judging our separate self or we're judging the separate God. But one way or another, we're always judging ourselves as not good enough. That we're approaching God the wrong way. That really stings me also, because that has been the wounding place for what I consider my best friend and me parting in this life, because my spirituality, my devotion to my own soul wasn't measuring up to my friend's relationship with Jesus. It wasn't affirming my friend's relationship with Jesus while I was seeking to affirm myself, my soul, right? And so this is a really sore spot for me still. When people tell me, well, you're not sincere enough, or you're approaching Jesus in the wrong way, that's why he hasn't responded to me. Oh, that cuts. That cuts. And it shreds my self-worth. It shreds my self-worth. And that's why my soul feels so averse to that whole language about Jesus and him, and coming to him with the right motive, the right approach, with more sincerity. You have to muster up more sincerity. You just never feel good enough. You feel judged, and you are judged, even though people are unaware of the judgment that they are actually meting out, because this goes to much deeper levels. I feel like I'm rambling. I'm still trying to touch base with what exactly it is in me that I am feeling, that I'm feeling resistance to, that I'm feeling triggered into. And I think it is this, the self-worth. Just to be thought of as wrong. And yes, there are all of these things in the Bible that talks about, there's another thing he said. Jesus said, many will be surprised in that day, and many of the first shall be last, and the last will be first, meaning that those who fall into the pit of spiritual pride or carnal reasoning, greed, and the pride of life will have the carpet pulled out from underneath them. The house will not stand through the storm. Everything that is hidden will be revealed. So, yes, but the language, I don't like the language that the Bible uses. Like another verse that he was using is that God resists the proud. All of these things are so misapplied because we don't understand where the manifestation of pride derives from. It comes from a not acknowledged self. It comes from trauma. It comes from lack of love. You're not going to find your true nature by being spoken to in this kind of language, that you're going to have the rug pulled out from under your feet. It's such hostile terminology. Same like God resists the proud. The language is archaic. It's mental. People would have a lot more compassion for the sinner, for the one that is caught up in the pride of life, in carnal reasoning and greed and all that. These things are soul derived from a soul that lacks love, a soul that is always put down, devalued, diminished. A soul that is always told basically you're never good enough and you're not approaching God in the right way. It's not helping. That kind of language is not helping. It's the language of enmity, the language of the dual mind, And it is what keeps us separated from God. Because we have misplaced God as some being outside and separate from us. Separate from our vile self. But we're not separate. Our vile self is the God that we need to meet in true authenticity. In real realness, in rawness, and then heal it through self-affirmation and self-love. Anyways, I'm rambling. This didn't come out very good, but I had to give these feelings voice.